Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please turn off all electronic equipment? We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Johanna, call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
I'm here.
At this point, we will change from our regular order, and we're here to do a very happy thing. And Chief or Commissioner, we have a promotion.
Yes, we have two promotions.
Correct.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome, everybody. This is the safest I've ever felt. We're in our fire department. We have all our entire police force here. Okay, let's get the festivities started. Do we have a Bible? Lauren Sticker. Who else first? Who else but me? Joseph first? Why is that? Which the order? Oh, look, the captain's telling me what to do. Okay. You want to do them both? Well, we're going to change up. We're going to do them both at the same time. Who would like to bring up the Holy Bible? Let's start with Joe first. Please raise your right hand. Do I need it? I'll hold it. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Joseph Scullion,
do solemnly and swearly promise
do solemnly and swearly promise
and swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform and discharge
all the duties
of the position of police sergeant
of the position of police sergeant
in the city of Margate City
in the city of Margate City
to the best of my ability
best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Chief, can I have my pen, please? Thank you. You got the routine already.
Hopefully,
I, and state your full name,
I, Lawrence Dickerson,
do solemnly and sincerely
do solemnly and sincerely
promise and swear
promise and swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
all the duties
all the duties
of the position of police sergeant
of the position of police sergeant
in the city of Margate City
in the city of Margate City
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. There. And now the
Thank you.
Chief, would you say a few words? On the spot.
Thank you.
Go on.
It's another great day for the police department. I got two great guys, and I have to tell a quick story about Joe. It had to be in the 80s sometime, and we used to give candy out at the school. And I remember him sitting at his desk as a little kid wearing his father's uniform. So it's a good day. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you all. At this point, we're going to take 5 or 10 minutes, so you can take pictures here if you want and celebrate a little bit. So, unless you want to sit through our next 2 hours of meetings.
He was, yeah, he was. Yeah, that's him. He's back on the street. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job, John. Nice job. Thanks, it was really hard to do.
They had a today in his early 30s. Never knew his father died. I did. Yeah, you're not kidding. That was a shock. A few years ago. I don't know what's being picked up. I don't trust. I don't. I did. There's 2 different types of microphones. I don't know. So be careful. Thank you. I didn't say that. Yeah, I know. You didn't say it. Thank you. But don't say it. Thank you very much.
I'm more interested in what you know about this other stuff.
Get a better.
I had a bunch of supplies in there so that I wouldn't have to carry stuff back and forth. That was, extra notepads and sticky notes, pens. Pens are still.
I saw the bunch of pens. I think they're in their office somehow. Here's the best thing to do. Put them in an envelope that says planning board material. Because that drawer contains about hearing systems. A lot of stuff was moving in. It's how to make room. Big deal, just put them in. We've got plenty of material.
I still. Okay.
Okay. Seeing as there's no special items for discussion, we'll move right to department head reports, and we shall start with Tony.
Everything is good in the fire department, Mayor. Actually, today we took a trip to the Philadelphia Fire Academy where we received roughly 50 to 60 free smoke detectors for the Margate residents. It's an event we go to every year, and it's a very enjoyable event, very good, and they've helped us out in the past in lots of ways, and we're grateful for that. It's for any Margate resident, yes, part of our program.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Lisa?
Good afternoon. Just want to report some good news that we received a few days ago from Standard & Poor's. As you know, we authorized bonds last July for approximately $18 million, and because of that, we needed to obtain a new bond rating from Standard & Poor's. There were a few things that were discussed at the time that they followed up on most recently, and as a result of the discussions and their follow-up, they improved our bond rating from a AA- to a AA, which is very good news for the city because it will help us in future ratings to obtain a better rate and lower costs associated with that. And it was basically based upon They submitted a report, and I've asked Fred to post it to the website under our financial documents. But it's based upon the strong and stable outlook, and it's basically due to strong management on the city's behalf, the use of our surplus, the increase in ratables, and our budget performance, just hitting the highlights. And also our net debt, which is below where we're allowed to be under statutory guidelines. And also because our buying income is at 156% of the national level. So we're in very good position right now. Hopefully it will continue. And I'll keep you posted of any future changes. I did send this to our financial advisor so that he could make all the necessary postings that are required. The only other thing I would like to add is, as you know, and I believe I did forward it to Rich and the mayor and commissioners, is that there was a question last time we met regarding the status of the extension that was requested for FEMA for this project. And I had requested an extension through December 31st, and it came back, and not only was it approved, but they gave us till April 29th of 2020. So we're in good shape, so if you want to do more work, we have a couple more years to go. I was like, is that right? So, I don't know, it says 2020, so I'm gonna go with it. But, so as soon as I have a minute to settle down after getting through closing out the year, I'm going to start submitting for another reimbursement request on that, because we are still due some funding. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Can we use some of that money on Union Avenue? Thanks. Roger?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Our yearly maintenance contracts are being renewed. They're upcoming. I want to announce there's a planning board meeting next Thursday night here at 6:30. Please note the new time and venue. Congratulations to the 2 police officers that were promoted. I also want to congratulate Linda Morgan, our tax collector, who celebrated 25 years here in Margate last Friday. I think that's quite an achievement. Other than that, I have nothing further.
Thank you, Roger. Chief?
As I said earlier, it's another great day for the police department. It's another great day for the police department, and I just want to reiterate that those 2 promotions are not over and above our normal complement. They're actually replacements for people who have left, and we've been waiting for that list for probably close to 36 months. So that's the culmination of a 36-month wait. On that, everything's great.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Dean?
I'm going to defer on the details to Scott, but I want to thank Scott. I began working a few months ago with Ventnor on a contract, a joint services, shared services contract for maintaining the pump station, which was a shared service project in and of itself between Ventnor, the pump station itself is Ventnor, Margate, the county, and the MUA. And now we have a negotiated agreement with Ventnor for the maintenance of the pump station. And what I was able to find out before I turned it over to Scott was I wanted to know the approximate area that the pump station serves in each of the municipalities. And it's approximately 1/3 in Margate and 2/3 in Ventnor in terms of the water area that it serves, it clears drainage. So the basis for the costs of the agreement are 2/3, 1/3, as opposed to 50/50, which we thought was fair. So Scott's been working on the detail of it. Whenever you do a shared service agreement, you have two different towns with different ideas on how to put it all together, and I appreciate all the work that Scott did. And when it's his turn to comment, and if he wants to amplify, please do so. Other than that, there are 2 grant applications with opportunities, small grants that are on the agenda today. In speaking over the last few weeks with our finance director, we're in agreement that anytime we do a grant, we want to know who the administrator is of the grant, because we have various people then administering these grants, and we need to identify that clearly. And in each of these cases, we have that identified. One would be Remington Vernick on the state aid grant, and the other one would be Jim Ratala on a grant for a watershed management plan that would be a joint plan with Ventnor and Longport. Jim would administer. However, before we execute any of those, should we get those grants, I asked the mayor and the clerk not to execute any of those grants until we sit down with finance director and make sure that we know exactly how we're administering it. And we have all the details transferred to the finance department, because everything's done by computer these days, and only certain people have access to the computer for putting information in order to get refunded. And we need a little bit better coordination on that. So we're authorizing them, we haven't received them, it may be months before we receive them, and then what happens is we're so excited we sign the grants and then we don't communicate sufficiently among ourselves. So if we work together, Mayor, I'd appreciate that.
We can do that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rich. Ed?
Okay, the 2015 state aid reconstruction on Winchester Avenue from Jerome to Granville. We had the pre-con December 21st. The contractor is anticipating starting the middle of January. They have actually been out there, their trucks are out there, so they'll be starting soon. The road program, which is with Lexiconcrete, we had the pre-con on the 27th of December. They've given us a schedule that they will start February 6th. And they anticipate starting on Lancaster Avenue, which is from Monmouth to Amherst. That would be their first street. The Gladstone Avenue water tank, as soon as the weather permits, the contractor will begin to paint the exterior of that. Thai School storm sewer replacement. My inspector met out there with the contractor to show him where the ponding is, and hopefully as soon as the weather permits, they'll fix that. This building, Phase 2 of 1 South Washington, I met today with my mechanical engineer and electrical, as well as my construction inspector, and we started at one end of the building and went to the other with the plans in hand to do a final punch list to provide to the contractor. We've also asked the architect and the interior designer to update their list, and what we intend to do is by beginning of next week, compile everything, give it to the contractor, give them a set amount of time to get it finished, telling them that if he doesn't, we'll finish it with the funds left in the contract. Wasn't a whole lot, in all honesty, there weren't a whole lot of issues that we found today, which was good, but we're going to put everything down. The 2014 state aid, which is Amherst Avenue, we're just waiting for the paving course to get resolved so that we can final that contract out and put in for the last 25%. And South Jersey gas main installation, they currently have 47 services that remain. 7 of them have been stubbed out. The other 40, they have requested the city's help in trying to contact the residents and get them to respond. As we speak, Chief, you're probably getting the list emailed to you. I've asked Joe to do that. And the streetscape grant that was put in for both Margate and Ventnor, I spoke to Jim Rotella the other day, and they anticipate maybe a May announcement of when those grants will come, when they'll be awarded. So, that's it.
Thank you, Ed. Jim?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Congrats, Dave. Great job. I like to see all those gold badges out there. Looks great. It's about time those guys got up. Linda Morgan, congratulations, and happy birthday, belated birthday to Rich. Happy birthday again, Rich.
Rich, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I also want to take a minute to thank Rich and John and Scott for helping our department with a particular code enforcement issue. I think we are at a potential to resolve this issue and finally get it out and just be done with it. I think we're headed in the right direction with this issue. We're very busy with with housing. We have a lot of projects that are now breaking ground because of the weather's not as bad as it usually is in January with ice and snow. These guys are really busting out of the ground continuously. As just busy as heck. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Fred has told me he has nothing to report today, so I didn't want to miss him, so I asked him before the meeting. Frank?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we had a snowstorm. We were pretty much out from 5 in the morning till about 6 at night. We used 75 tons of salt, which we have replaced already. The past 2 weeks we shut off about 10 houses because of frozen pipes. We fixed 2 water leaks. We installed 2 water and sewer connections at new properties. And we've been out on Winchester Avenue turning valves, preparing for Perna Finnegan coming in next week. That's all I have.
Good job, Frank. Scott?
Mayor, it's all been good news. First off, we'll talk about the Ventnor Pump Station, which was a joint effort from the county and the county MUA and the city of Ventnor and the city of Margate. And I'm sure the process was helped along by the relationship that you 3 commissioners have with the people in Ventnor and the officials. They've been a pleasure to work with, and Marie Mento is their city administrator. She's got a great relationship with us, with Richard. And so we came up with, I think, a very fair allocation of the cost. You'll see that the annual fee is $3,550. Within that fee is the electric cost for this pump station. And if it's off by 10% either way, there will be an adjustment, either more or less. So if it was less than the estimated electric, you'll see a credit back to us. Ventnor will maintain the pump station, and I believe it was your idea, Richard, to figure out how much of area was drained by that pump station. I think we came up with, what, 35%? Roughly 35% of the area that the pump station handles. So that everybody understands, it's not going to eliminate flooding, but it certainly helps a lot because it does drain the water out quicker, and it just shows you that pump stations and pumps are a part of the answer. I mean, we can't raise the island, and we're going to have more flooding, but this was a project that's worked out well. So the resolution, the authorization to have the mayor sign on behalf of the city of Margate, it requires your approvals as the governing body. That's one item. Second item, I would like to mention is the Margate Terrace. There were some issues there. It's been a pleasure to work with Fred Vernon and their attorney Jim Pira, and as I understand it, they have signed. They're on their way to refinancing it. And as you probably saw in the paper, there's been recent court cases regarding the allocation of low-income and middle-income housing. The Margate Terrace doesn't resolve all our problems, and it's something we're addressing in our master plan to the best of our ability, although, quite frankly, there really isn't much land available in Margate. But the Margate Terrace is an extremely well-run facility, and they do a fantastic job, and they offer 74 units. And many of those units are occupied by people who've lived here all their life. So, again, we've already approved the ground lease. We've approved the tax abatement. They're in the processing. Am I correct, Fred? You're halfway there on the refinancing, which enables substantial improvements to the building. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars put in, but everything, air conditioning, roof, because the building was what, John, 40 years old or
35?
35 years old? And that's how you maintain a community. That's how you maintain it. You have to put money back in, and that's being accomplished. Everybody always asks me about our beach case and the condemnation. That's just moving forward. We don't have a hearing date yet with the commissioners. As you know, we're not involved with the federal case, the 5 homeowners. As Commissioner Blumberg, I know, takes a great interest in it. As I understand it, there'll still be a response and by the state and the Army Corps to the homeowners' recent brief. And we don't know what a federal judge is liable to do. So, but in the meantime, I'd like to say that perhaps we should, Mayor, as we talked about in the workshop, have you draft, or we'll help you, of course, Eddie and will help you draft and specify, hey guys, where are we on our tractors? Where are we on the ramp?
Absolutely.
I think we should mention that ramp.
We should get that done out.
Whatever else you come up with. At least keep putting them on notice. They've been put on notice. So, but I think it sets the table for maybe future actions. So,
Agreed.
that's basically it. I would turn this button off, but it doesn't turn off.
Keep working at it, Scott.
If I clip this wire.
Maury?
Stop talking.
Mike, I don't have anything to report, but I do want to say thank you to all the great employees that we have in Margate City for all the hard work that they do, and especially congratulate Linda on her 25 years of service. That's a long time to be with one company and one organization. And in that regard, I think I'll ask Fred to help design a 25-year pin, and maybe at some point in time we could present that to her. So congratulations to Linda, and again, thank you to all the Margate City employees for the great job that they do every day for the taxpayers. That's all I have.
Thank you, Maury. John?
Yes, Mayor, just briefly, I just want to commend Frank and his team at Public Works once again on the 8th of January during an extremely cold spell and a snowstorm that hit our coastline. Our streets were well maintained, and they were out there bright and early and worked right straight through until everything was taken care of. And as I cruised around the city, I did see Frank out in his SUV making sure everything was getting done. So our compliments to your whole team every time.
Thank you.
And just what people don't see in the public, and it's really amazing how the teamwork with our employees really gels. I walk in here today at 12 o'clock. Ed Wahlberg's in here with his engineer doing a punch list for heating and electric. Public Works are in here because we haven't awarded the contract for cleaning for this building. Cleaning, vacuuming the rugs, emptying the trash cans. I know I didn't have anything to do about saying, we got to do this. I don't know if Mike or Maury did, or Rich, but they take the ball and run with it. And when we walk in here, it's all ready to go. So it's a great part of being in Margate. Thank you all.
Thank you, John. And I didn't order Frank to do anything. Well, once again, Frank, I commend you for all you do, make my job and my life very easy, and you deserve all the kudos you can get.
Thank you.
One comment on subject we talked about before, the Ventnor pump station. A lot of people ask me all the time, well, you know, how's it working? And after a while, the lightning struck, and I realized it must be really good. And the reason I say that is, since the pump has come online, I have had not one complaint, not one. So I think that's a good way to judge the efficiency of that pumping station. And having said that, we will now open to public comment. We have 3 minutes on anything that was discussed here at this meeting. You take care of it. All right. Thank you.
Sewell, 22 West Drive. 2 quick points following up on the remarks of the CFO, mentioning the increase in ratables and dovetailing that in with the finance minister's number of $35 million in the year 2016, and online for another 35 million in 2017. And following up what the mayor's remarked, this will be an 11-year pattern. And where is the dividend to the taxpayers? They used to call these folks welcome new neighbors. We're not seeing diddly squat being returned. And all we do is see a bloated budget year after year after year. This has to change. There has to be some return to the taxpayers. There has to be some reduction in millage against the taxpayers' billing. You're forcing widows. Widow called me up the other week and explained how dire her situation was. And normally I don't advise anyone for reverse mortgage, but in her particular circumstances, I said that may be the only remedy if it is available. But the next point is, following up on our esteemed solicitor, on the Dunes Beach suit by the citizens, I hope everybody caught the article about taking the lumps. If you read the last 5 paragraphs by Michelle Post, Kevin Post's wife, you will see that they are dynamite assertions and that they are grounds to have both the DEP and the U.S. Wildlife and Conservation to issue an injunction until the ramifications of dredging that sand, which enables fish to populate. We just had a recent thing with the flounders being dramatically reduced, and it could be directly or indirectly a result of the dredging of the very sand that these fish rely upon to reproduce. And I think it's legitimate to ask for that study to be completed before they go forward with more damage to the fisheries. You've got, this is something that is tailor-made for an amicus curia brief, solicitor, which you could whip out in about all of 32 and a half minutes if you set your mind to it. But this has to be addressed. You just can't squander $322,000 and then sit on your hands and say, well, we did something. Well, what you did was waste money. You waste the taxpayers' money and you didn't accomplish diddly squat. You're talking about ramps and this and that. But with that kind of money, it certainly should have been far more accomplished. And I think it's incumbent upon this commission, if need be, go to Washington, speak with Lo Biondo, Menendez, and Mr. Booker, Mayor. Change your hearing location. You might get better consideration down there.
Good timing, John. Thank you. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned. We'll take a short break and